we're going to continue on with some more contractions. So let's start off with the word couldn't. Couldn't, like I couldn't see the board because I forgot my glasses. Write it down on your paper. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, couldn't stands for the words could and not, could not. So remember to have your "oh, you lazy dog," and then your apostrophe here replacing the O. It's important to have that apostrophe. The whole word's going to be wrong on the spelling test if you don't have the apostrophe because it's a part of the word. All right, next is the word doesn't. Doesn't. This is one we talked about yesterday. It's a tricky one because it has a heart part in it. See if you can remember how to spell that heart part. Write it down on your paper. 3, 2, 1, 0. Doesn't has this really interesting schwa sound here. Interesting spelling for the schwa sound. It has O-E, spelling the sound. Doesn't. And make sure that you have that apostrophe there replacing the O. Next is the word hadn't. Hadn't. Like I hadn't practiced my rocket before dinner. 3, 2, 1, 0. Hadn't stands for the words had, not. Make sure you replace that O with an apostrophe. Make sure you have an apostrophe. Next is the word let's. Let's. Like let's go to the park. Go ahead and write it down. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, this one is a little bit different than ones we've done before. This one stands for the two words let us. Let us. So this is saying like let us go to the park. We might not actually say that very often, but we would use the contraction let's go to the park. So that apostrophe is replacing the U, let us. Go ahead and make sure you have that apostrophe. Next is the word I've. I've. Like I've learned to drive a car. Go ahead and write it down. 3, 2, 1, 0. I've. Now this is an interesting one. This stands for the two words I have. Like in my sentence, I said, I've learned to drive a car. I could say, I have learned to drive a car. If you're using an apostrophe, a contraction with the apostrophe, make sure that you can actually say those two words in your sentence. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense with a contraction. So make sure you've replaced the H and the A with an apostrophe. Next is the word I'm. Like I'm going to go outside for recess today. I'm. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let's look at this one. This stands for the words I am, like I am going outside for recess today. And we replace the A with the apostrophe. Now, one thing I want you to note is that in the words I'm and I've that we did last, you must capitalize the I because it's standing for the word I. And we always capitalize the word I. So make sure that you've capitalized I and I'm and I've. Next is the word theirs. Theirs. Like there's a book on the floor. 3, 2, 1, 0. Now this one can get a little tricky, so I want you to pay really careful attention to this one. This is standing for the words there is. Like in our sentence, there is a book on the floor, or there's a book on the floor. And it's important to note that we're using this there, as in it's over there. This is talking about a place, and it's standing for there is. So we're replacing the I with an apostrophe. Next is the word we've. We've. Like we've gone to the park 3 days in a row. 3, 2, 1, and 0. We've stands for the words we have because I could say, we have gone to the park 3 days in a row, or we've gone to the park 3 days in a row. Make sure you've replaced the H and A with an apostrophe. Next is the word what's. What's. Like, what's the matter with your dinner? Write it down. 3, 2, 1, and 0. What stands for the words what is, because in our sentence I could say what is wrong with your dinner or what's wrong with your dinner. So replacing the I with an apostrophe. Make sure you have w in whale in the word what. Next is the word whose. Whose. Like, who's coming to dinner tomorrow? 3, 2, 1, and 0. Whose stands for the two words who is, because in my sentence I could say who is coming to dinner tomorrow. We're replacing the I with an apostrophe. Check your work. Make sure you have in who in that word. Now on your paper again today, you're going to write those words again, separating the two words that's included in the contraction. Make sure you're spelling both of those words correctly.